because this is something that a lot of shows have done, but since we had a little bit of time, I thought we would tackle this as a Wake Up Woodward crew as well. NFL coaches and executives were polled, and they came up with their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL list. And I know a lot of other shows have done this qualifier, but it's not some writer. It's not PFF, even though I love PFF and I love a lot of writers. These are what you would call the ball knowers. And most of them are not quotations. They're actually ball knowers. So this list, I think, holds a lot more weight than, random blog and basement guys. Shout out to you guys doing your work, but you understand what I'm saying. So if you want to go ahead and put that up, Ryan, I want to see if anybody in here has any issues or wants to affirm this or see where Jared Goff is.
Collusion. No.
I love how Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, and Patrick Mahomes are on this. Kind of random. You expect the two on the bookend, but Baker in the middle. Right. Shout out to him for making the list. He's proved me wrong in a lot of ways. But I will read this list real quick for those of you who are listening on audio only. At number 1, Patrick Mahomes. 2, Josh Allen. 3, Joe Burrow. 4, Lamar Jackson. 5, Jaden Daniels. 6, Matthew Stafford. 7, Justin Herbert. 8, Jared Goff. 9, Jalen Hurts. And 10, Baker Mayfield. First thoughts, Kool-Aid, or any problems?
I would instantly just flip-flop Justin Herbert and Jared Goff. Especially
I understand.
Just instantly. That's the one that I would probably have the most umbrage with. Jaden Daniels, I get the hype. You want to see him do it in year 2. He has all the talent. He showed everything. I thought he was going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year to start the season, and he exceeded beyond what I thought he could and what a lot of other people thought he could do. But that is an interesting one for me to see at the start of the season ahead of Jared Goff. Yeah. But overall, no. And the Matthew Stafford one, that's another one to me that's like razor thin. If I want to be fair, that's, trust me, Detroit Kool-Aid, Jared Goff above Matthew Stafford. But if I'm trying to be fair, Matthew Stafford is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL.
Sure.
Yeah, so the only one that I have like a real gripe with is Justin Herbert. That one I don't quite understand. It feels like that one might be a little bit more of projecting, but what we've seen from Jared Goff is everything. And I put a lot of weight on that game that they played head to head. Mm-hmm. I was told Jared Goff couldn't do what Justin Herbert could. I was told he could not keep up in a game like that, and we saw him go out there and air the freaking ball out. Man. And they won on the road outside, and people said that they were going to go out there and lose that game. I remember those times.
That was such a great duel, and ultimately Goff got the better of Herbert. And I have no problem with – I'd probably put Goff over Herbert too. And it's because Justin Herbert –
what has he done?
Part of his story is that in his first 5 seasons, he's put up – historic regular season numbers, coming in as a starter right away, rookie of the year season, one of the best rookie seasons ever, following that up with a 38 touchdown season. But in the last 3, he's also probably as well known, if not more well known, for 2 just horrific playoff choke jobs. You can say that the Jags one, it was more of a whole team choke, but still, it was like a 24-0 lead. Mm-hmm. This last game, the Chargers would have won that game if Herbert played normal bad. He choked in his playoff game more than Jared Goff did in his. And that to me is where, you can talk about Herbert and his talent because he is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's actually arguably a historic talent. But with that, you got to show me a little bit more. You got to show up in the playoffs. You can't be, doo-dooing all over yourself like that. You can't. Yeah. That's what Justin Herbert did.
And Baker Mayfield, does he deserve to be a spot or 2 higher?
No.
Or is he appropriate?
No, not over Jalen Hurts, no.
I think
not
Baker's where he is.
Yeah, he's right at 10. Yeah.
Because the part of Baker Mayfield's story as well is he's had some stinkers in terms of seasons. He's rebounded in a way that I never thought he would in Tampa Bay, and I give him a ton of credit for that. But if you want to say he should be over Herbert, I'm not going to fight you on it, but I wouldn't say over Herbert.
Not over Hurts, but Herbert's the one I'm looking at. Hurts would jump up this list for me too. I'd probably take Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, and probably if you're leaving Justin Herbert on this list, I'd probably put him at 10.
Yeah.
I can't kill you for that.
Yeah.
And I would just leave
Baker
probably
9.
Everything else the same. I get the Jaden Daniels. What have you done lately?
Yeah.
I mean, he showed a lot. it feels dirty saying, like, with Matthew Stafford, that's one that I'm okay with relinquishing, especially with the Super Bowl win and such, and seeing the talent that he's still putting on Front Street. But the Jaden Daniels one, that's the interesting one to me. That's the one that I want to see Jared Goff proved the narrative wrong this year.
Yeah, no, that's my minor gripe with this list, is that we do need to see what year 2 is going to look like for Jaden Daniels. Although I feel like he'll succeed. I mean, they are, catering the offense to him. Another year in the NFL is going to make a difference. I feel like, he'll get better throwing the football, because that's my biggest gripe with him. He's elite running the football, and he does make plays passing, but you need to see him be more efficient. So that's the only thing I would argue with that, but that's a minor gripe. You can keep him at 5 if you really want to. My biggest gripe is the Justin Herbert thing, and I go back, I would put Justin Herbert at 9 and Baker at 10, and I would keep it like that, just move the list up. But because Justin Herbert is like the last couple years, and I'm not a hater of Justin Herbert. In fact, I've been a supporter of him for many years, but over these last couple years, you just start to realize certain things, and I just don't know if he has it. And now he's in a Jim Harbaugh led offense, which is going to essentially turn him into a game manager type of quarterback. And I'm not saying that his talent is game manager talent. He does have top tier talent, but we haven't seen it in forever. And I understand he hasn't had the greatest receivers in the world and things of that nature. I don't think a Jim Harbaugh led offense is going to help him by any stretch of the imagination. And he just hasn't proved it in the playoffs.
That's actually a really good point.
It's not that he hasn't proved it. It's that, like, he's known for choking.
Yeah.
Probably more so than any quarterback currently playing right now.
Yeah, that's a better way to phrase it.
And trust me, I'm with you, KG. I've always been a Herbert supporter. I had screaming matches with our very own Neil Rule about it. However,
I am losing faith, though. I am.
Of course, when that happened, the first text I got was from Neil, and all I had to say was just concede. That was completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Does anybody think that Jalen Hurts is getting a little bit disrespected on this list?
I definitely
a little bit. Yeah, he just won a Super Bowl.
Higher. I definitely do.
Like Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts is a little crazy, just considering what happened.
Yeah. The thing about Jalen Hurts is people, I think, have some false narratives about him. And I'm not saying that he's an elite quarterback to the level of, like, the top 4. However, people treat him like he's a game manager or he's a tush-push merchant, and I completely reject that.
No, he's not.
Do people forget that in the 2022 season, without Saquon, by the way, it was still a really great team, but without Saquon, he was second in the NFL in MVP voting behind Patrick Mahomes. In the regular season, he had 35 touchdowns combined rushing and passing and only 6 turnovers. Look at last year, and I understand that it was a Saquon Barkley-driven offense, and their defense was great and really talented, and certainly great in the playoffs. In the 2024 season, 32 touchdowns responsible for passing and rushing, and only 7 turnovers. That's part of what makes Jalen Hurts so good to borderline great, is that he can do it in a variety of different ways. He's not asked to do as much as some of the top tier quarterbacks, but he also takes really good care of the football. And also, what's the most important thing about Jalen Hurts is that he is in a 2 Super Bowl sample size is actually a pretty large one, because there's a lot of quarterbacks who've gotten to 0 or 1 only. He's had 2 great Super Bowls.
Yeah.
A 109.4 passer rating combined in both Super Bowls, 3 touchdowns passing, 4 rushing, only 2 turnovers, 1 Super Bowl MVP, and 1 loss in which he led his offense to 35 points. I'd put Hurts over Jaden Daniels for now. I probably would. And I'm a Jaden Daniels supporter. I think that he's the most special rookie I ever saw, and I don't think he's going to have that sophomore slump that everybody's just penciling in. However, Jalen Hurts, I don't think people talk about what I just talked about enough. He's not a tush-push merchant. He is a game manager to some extent, but if he is, he's the highest of the high-end game manager, but he does it in a variety of different ways, and he's been very, very successful.
Yeah, and he has elite composure in high-pressure
Probably
moments.
Among the most elite.
Yeah, that to me is what stood out even more so in this last playoff run.
Absolutely.
There was so much noise. There were so many narratives. There was stuff going on in the locker room. There were current players and former players talking about it, literally putting their business out there. As the quarterback and the leader of that team and of those rooms, when you're going behind closed doors, for Jalen Hurts to be able to lead this team still to a Super Bowl, as much as we talk about the IQ and the leadership of Jared Goff and why that needs to be highlighted more, I would be a hypocrite if I did not highlight what Jalen Hurts meant to the Eagles this year. And you talk about going back to last season when there was a whole lot more, or 2 years ago before this season, before last season, the championship year, there was a whole lot of noise about who he is.
Right,
and if
right.
he needs another ring to basically solidify what type of quarterback people are going to view him as. And it's amazing that he got that and people still discount Jalen Hurts. And it's the weirdest thing, man, when you just kind of see his name at 9. It's like, this isn't like someone doing this for clicks.
Yeah.
That to me is what's just a little weird. It's a survey of the ball knowers.
No, and honestly, you're right about Jalen Hurts almost gets more disrespected now that he actually has a Super Bowl MVP.
Right,
But
right.
before they were like,
It's
just you got to win another one.
No,
and then he did.
yeah.
Now they're like, nah.
No, I feel you. I think this is more so based on just actual ability as a quarterback. And if you measuring him against the top 5, he doesn't have the elite arm. He doesn't have some of those elite traits. But overall, he is a damn good quarterback. You know, we talk about game managers, and he is on the high end of a game manager. He's an elite game manager. And a lot of people would consider Jared Goff to be that as well.